Hi there, we're going to learn how to create this effect, rolling text around a planet. This can be used for any sort of animation, even if you wanted to animate a logo. So let's have a look and get started. We're going to create a new composition just for this particular element that we want to use. So I'm just going to right click here on this new composition, and I'm just checking that everything here is how I want it. We can always, change anything. You can change, your color to white, or you can have it as black, or any other color that you want to use as your background color. And okay, so now I'm going up here to this shapes tool, and this is going to create a shape layer for me. So if I just hold it down, go to this ellipse tool here, and I bring it here over into my composition panel here. You can see this little kind of soft edged star, rounded edged star there. That means I'm about to create a shape layer. If I press shift and hold it down, you can see that I have created a perfect circle as we would in Illustrator. I'll just get my selection tool here just to bring it up there. And I'm just going to press Y here just to, you can press Y if you see that your anchor point isn't in the center, or you can go up to layer. So I'll just click on my selection tool there, go up to layer, go to transform, and you can say center anchor point within layer content if it had been, somewhere out here. So we have this first part here. The next thing what we're going to do is I can just lock that for now, and I can just press U just to hide that there. And I'm going to go up to my type tool, and I'm just going to type in some content, and this is the content then that we're going to learn how to scroll. So if you just begin by just clicking here somewhere, it automatically creates an empty text layer. So I'm just going to say learning how to use scrolling type. And here you can just highlight that there. You can go up to your window, to your workspace, and click on text, and that will give you more options then here, if you want to, how to align your text or anything, or if you wanted to change the font up here, you could, I can change that just to Myriad Pro, and I can change that to all caps. I can change the size of it. I can change, the tracking on it. I can also change then the leading, on it as well, or the scale, increase the stretch it, the scale of it there. But I'll just keep it at 100% for now. And you can, as you're working with it, you may need to adjust some of these here. So the next step is that I am going to draw a circular mask with an ellipse tool. So I'm going to go up here again, back up to this ellipse tool. I'll just make sure that I can see all these panels here that I want to see. And before I do that, what I'll just do is I'll just highlight everything here. I'll go back up and click on default. So I'm back into my default settings, and you can see then, you still have access to your text settings. If you want to go up into window just to find your alignments there, you can always just align everything there, and you can zoom out just to make sure. Go up to this ellipse tool, and it automatically knows that it's about to create a mask for me over this type here that I've typed in. So I am just going to draw this mask, this ellipse here. So to change this text from being within this mask, we want to have it on a path, as we would do if we were working in Adobe Illustrator. So we just click on here on path options, and we can just drop down and see here on path. We're just going to click on mask 1. So that's the mask. So that's brought this now up onto our path. There's different things that you can do here. You can turn on reverse path and that'll flip it upside down. Forced alignment will stretch it all out if you wanted that to happen, but I'm not going to do that. So what I am going to do is, I think this this typography here might be, quite dense, or it, I'm not 100% sure if it'll be legible. Do I want to have that font or anything? So, you have all that flexibility, as I mentioned. Over here, you can change this to, a different font that you wanted to use. You could change your color as well. And then, you can change your leading or your tracking here as well out. So what I'm going to do is, and also if you had it here on your path and you wanted to change the start, of where that type is starting. So first of all, I can, highlight it, and if I go here over to my paragraph and have it starting over here, it flips it upside down, so I can just reverse the path there and change it if I want to, and then I can use my selection tool as we did before, to show where it is. We can just bring it to a different starting point if we wish. I'll just keep that on the center, and I'll turn off that reverse path so it's all there, and I can just bring this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here to my type tool, and I'm just going to highlight it, and then I'm just going to copy and paste it again, and I can just maybe just reduce the size. And you can also have it centered on the path here as well. So we're just going to go back over here to our, just make sure that you are clicked on your type layer, and where we have our path options, I'm going to create what we call an expression. Now you could create keyframes like your standard keyframes, but if I just create an expression, it'll keep just rolling this type. So I'm just going to click on, I'm on a Mac, so I'm clicking on Option. If you're on a PC or Windows, you can press Alt, and then you can click on to your little stopwatch there. Time, just leave a space, then use your little star as a multiply, like as if you're writing an equation sort of in Excel. And then you can just leave another space, and I could type in 75 if I wanted it kind of at a medium readable pace. I could type it at 200 if I wanted to move it quite quickly. What I'll show you here, I'll just press my space bar here just to show you what I mean. So it's kind of like at a regular kind of scrolling pace there. If I change this to, say, 200, for instance, it would move a lot quicker there. So as you can see, and so I'll just leave it at 75, I think is a nice speed there. Just reduce the size of this so I can see what I'm working with. And I'm just going to click on the letter U just to hide all of these. I'm going to my shape layer here, and what I'm going to do is I am going to Command or Control D just to create another identical layer, but I'm just going to rename this one so that I know it's the mask layer. So I can just call this, you know, circle mask. I can go down here and name my shape layer as well, just so I can keep track of things. And up on my circle mask layer, I'm just going to change the color of that. So I just go up to my selection tool and I'm just going to change this to a different color. Let's move the mask layer just up here above the scrolling type layer. And what we need to do now is we just need to drop down here on our circle mask layer, click on our ellipse there and right click on that and say ungroup shapes. And we just need to make sure that anchor point is center. Go up to layer, transform, and just center anchor point. And then I can just highlight over everything here and I can just go up to my window and align and center everything. And what I could do here at this point is maybe rotate slightly the text layer so it's kind of a little bit more like, you know, a kind of Ring of Saturn type effect, just at a slight angle. So I can just go up here to my rotate tool and I can just rotate this just ever so slightly like that. What I do now is I want to be able to see the legible front part of my type there. So I can just change this mask now, and what we need to do is we need to convert this to ellipse path to a Bezier path. So we have our ellipse path and we can just right click on it and convert to Bezier path. So that means then we'll be able to manipulate the little points on it as we would do in Illustrator. So we have our selection tool there and we're on our circle mask layer there and we're going to be able just to reveal what text that we want to reveal and just make sure that the text in the back is hidden. So now we want to make sure that our mask here is actually turned into a proper mask. We don't want it to look like this, with this orange on top. So I'm just going to press the letter U just to collapse everything, and I'm going down onto my text layer there, and you should have track matte. If that isn't coming up there, just go down to your toggles and switches modes there, and you know, if it's looking like this, and just click on track matte. And we do want to convert this into a track matte. So the first thing what we have to do is go into, as I said, the text layer that we have here that we want to mask. And we're going to use this circle mask is going to be our mask. We'll just click on that. And then obviously this is wrong. We don't want, it's inverted. So we need to invert this properly. So you can just click on this matte is inverted and click to disable. Did that. And as you can see, your type then is scrolling around your planet. So if you do want to make your planet a little bit more spherical, just go back up to your fill and play around with you know, your gradient. So a linear gradient could give you, you know, kind of, you know, like I suppose the dark side of the moon type effect if you wanted that, and a radial gradient can give you something that's a little different. So if I just go up here and darker color on the outside, and you may want a kind of lighter color on the inside. If you wanted to make you know, this more like kind of glowing, you can just go into your effects panel and type in glow, and you could just maybe go to your dimension glow and you could just drag that onto it. And then up here, you know, you could change the glow color if you know, you can have keyframes on it. So if you had your glow like that maybe, and you had your keyframes all set like this, and then if you say moved it on maybe half a second, and you changed, maybe say your opacity a bit, and then if you moved it back up and you brought your opacity back up to 100, you know, you can start seeing it kind of that pulsing glow.